Hey, how's it going, everybody? So this is a video to give you guys an idea on how to use the Chronometer nutrition tracking application. So this is going to be the application that I really recommend you guys use for the next 12 weeks. It's one that I use personally, and you can see here that I'm actually in my own profile. So once you guys are all signed up, you can use your Facebook profile, you can use your Google profile, whatever it may be to sign in. You can also download the app on your phone, iOS and Android enabled, obviously. I recommend that when you first set it up, though, do it on your desktop, just like I'm doing here, because it'll give you just a little bit cleaner functionality. It's not saying that it's not good on your phone. It's just when you're doing your initial setup, I just recommend that you do it just like I'm doing it here. So I'm just going to give you guys just a breakdown of how it actually works. So once you have your profile page, it's going to ask you obviously all the general information that is required to allow the app to actually do some calculations for you. So put in all your details. So you can see mine are all here. So obviously I'm a man, and here's my birthday, your weight, height. That's important because that'll give you your baseline calculations. If you don't know your weight, this is the time to get on a scale and weigh yourself, because that's a really important objective measure of success, right? So in this case here, last time I weighed myself was a few weeks ago. I was 209 pounds. I haven't weighed myself since the holidays, probably a little bit more than that. But needless to say, once you go from there, you can do it in, if you're fancy, you can do it in kilograms. I like keeping it in pounds. You can then go to your body fat. Now, if you don't know your body fat, that's fine. It's something that I'm going to give you guys a quick kind of tutorial on how to actually calculate that, whether or not you have calipers or not. It's not obligatory, but it's something good to know. And knowing your basic fat percentage is always something that should be something that you have calculated, every few months or so, especially when you're undergoing a new nutrition and fitness program, because you may gain weight, but if you lost body fat and put on some muscle, you're tracking in the right direction. So in this case here, last time I measured, I was around 15% body fat, which is, again, something I'd like to work on as well. So next, this will calculate your body mass index. So that's your BMI. Again, another great measure of objective measure of success. And then the next big thing is what we call basal metabolic rate. So if you guys didn't go over this in grade 9 high school biology, this is it in a nutshell. Essentially, when you lay down and do nothing all day except breathe, this is your basic basal metabolic rate. So essentially, what does your body need calorically in order for all your organs to function and for you just to breathe? That's your basic basal metabolic rate. Obviously, okay, that's just covering the bases. If you want to grow and if you want to see any sort of change within your body, you're going to have to elicit, or you're going to have to incorporate and take in some more calories. Obviously, most of you guys, I don't think, are going to be just chilling on the couch, clicking through workouts for the next 12 weeks, because that would be absolutely weird. So in this case here, obviously, you're going to have a basal metabolic rate, but then it's going to ask you your activity level, which then calculates roughly then how many more calories you're going to need on top of this basal metabolic rate in order to reach your next goal. So in this case here, I put moderately active. So it's going to take my BMR times 50%, and it's going to give me something in kilocalories. Okay, so just a point of note, when we're talking about calories, that's kind of like the colloquial term for what we call a kilocalorie. A kilocalorie is what we're actually calculating. So if you see kcal, that's because that's literally what we're calculating. It's not a calorie itself. It's actually a kilocalories, 1,000 calories. But we just say, oh, it's 2,000 calories. We don't need to nerd it out and say kilocalories. So just to clarify that, from now on, we'll just say calories, and it's assumed that we know it's kilocalories. Okay, so from there, you're going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to have your weight goal. So now your weight goal is based on what you want to do. So everybody's going to have something a little different. And if that's the case, if in my case here, I want to lose weight. So I'm looking to lose body fat. So I want to lose about half a pound a week, which is pretty reasonable. So you can just click on the drop-down menu and figure out which one would suit your your needs the best. So if it's gain weight, obviously it's down here, it's half a pound, 1 pound, 2 pound. And in my case here, it's half a pound a week, which is pretty reasonable. For any of you that are just starting out, if you've never actually done any kind of body transformation training, doing anything more than 0.5 pounds a week, either gaining or losing, is very difficult. It's actually quite hard to put on weight a lot of times for most people, and subsequently it's quite hard to lose weight. And we don't want to lose muscle mass or bone density. We want to lose body fat. When we say, oh, we want to lose weight, it's not just weight. We want to lose body fat. So if that's the case, you don't want to be too aggressive starting out, because it can get quite discouraging. But something within this range here of 0.5 is actually quite attainable. And then we're going to go down to the awesome macronutrient targets. Now, I don't expect any of you to become macronutrient target experts. And just to give you an idea of what a macronutrient is, that the three macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So for anybody that's tracking these, especially in this app, you're going to pick something that, if you don't know, I really recommend just going to even, okay? But if you do know, and if you want to work on it with me a little bit more, something that I use that works quite well is what I call a zone diet. So this is essentially 30% protein, 30% fat, and 40% carbohydrates. So what that does is it gives you a really good balance of your macronutrients. And you might have heard all kinds of different diets that are out there. This is the one that I've had the most success with myself and my clients. So if you guys want to just dial it in with the zone diet, that's cool. And I don't recommend any of the other ones here. The high-fat ketogenic, paleo is more or less the zone diet. They're not very different with their distribution of macronutrients. Or if you have something else in mind, you're like, no, I know this type of macronutrient profile works best for me. Cool, man. Anything related to this that you want to talk about as well, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. And so there you go. You've pretty much set yourself up in the app. The other things that are cool about this application here is that you can connect any of your devices, any of your fitness or health monitoring devices that are available these days. So you can link them directly to your Chronometer account, which would keep things a lot easier if that's the case. I don't have one of these sexy devices yet, but that's definitely something I'm going to get in the near future. All right, so what does this all look like then? So let's go to the diary, and you're going to have now all your breakdown of what you're eating is going to be here. Okay, so it's, in this case here, January 7th. I want to add a food. So let's say I had a big bowl of oatmeal. Okay, let's just say oatmeal, regular, dry. Okay. Now, here's where the nitty-gritty of actually figuring out how to actually put together your meal plan and actually get into how much am I eating during the day. This is where the fist palm thumb, the FPT method, comes into play. But also, it's good to know also how much you're eating roughly. So not only do I recommend using just the basic method, but as you progress, figure out how much you're actually consuming. Am I consuming a cup of oatmeal a day? Is it actually more like 2 cups of oatmeal a day? That'll give you a more mathematical approach. But for starting out, it's really good just to use the fist palm thumb method, so the FPT method. So if you're unclear as to what that is, the infographics are in your Google Drive folder, and you can look those over, and we'll be working with that for the first few weeks just to get you used to eating a certain plate of food with the right macronutrient breakdown. But just to follow along with what I'm doing here, let's just say for breakfast today, I have 1 cup of oatmeal, so I can see here 1, and then I can change the serving values down here. I'm just going to use a cup, because it's easy. And then as you can see here on the left, it's got my macronutrient breakdown. So it's got protein, carbs, and fat already taken care of. So pretty sweet. What I can do is just go add serving, towel, and then serve. Notice how all of these values change. So in this case, I've now consumed 307 calories. Okay. My total for the day, okay, needs to be 2,961. Now, the thing that's tricky about counting calories is that it's hard, first of all, and second of all, you're always going to be off by about 15 to 20%. It's not an accurate science. So as long as you get close to this, like if you're off by like 1 calorie, it's like, oh my God, it doesn't matter. Okay, it really doesn't matter. You're going to be off by, maybe 100 or 2 calories a day. That's pretty normal because it's just hard to dial it in that tight. And then it tells you, okay, how many more calories do I need to eat during the day? It's 2,400. And in this case here, I can see, okay, this is how much energy I've consumed and how much more I have to go. This is how much protein I've consumed, how many carbohydrates I've consumed, and how much fat I've consumed. It also does all the micronutrients, which is pretty cool too. I don't know how accurate it is, to be honest, but nevertheless, it gives you a half decent breakdown. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. For you guys, all this is going to do is just roughly calculate how you're eating for the first few weeks. So if you can gain a habit of just literally writing down what you're eating, whether it's on paper or on Cronometer, that's wicked. Okay, that's the habit that's being built. If you're not comfortable with Cronometer just yet, that's cool. We'll eventually progress to it. So I hope this helps out. And if you have any questions, please drop me a line. And good luck, guys. You guys are going to crush it. Peace.